Let's go, bub.
Kobocop presents a quick look at the CT Toys Wolverine Tiger Stripe bootleg of the 096 Mafex figure. The box came destroyed. I ordered several copies, and even with several copies, they did not send it with a box. They sent it all bundled together with bubble wrap, and then they basically plastic with the thickness of a garbage bag wrapped around the outside with tape. So no luck on ordering multiples to get better condition boxes. Even, I mean, it looks like somebody was chewing on it. Enough about the packaging. This is my first time taking it out, so I wanted to get a fresh opinion and just tell you guys what I think as I'm looking at it. So the head is off, and the other CT Toys Wolverines that I've taken out of the package, the head will sometimes be disconnected, but it's not broken. It just pops off during shipping, and it will pop back on there. It's tight. It's tight. There were some other ones where they were a little loose than the others. This one is pretty tight. Now, a lot of people are complaining with this CT Toys Wolverine about the tiger stripe, and that's the first thing that my eyes were drawn to, is this shoulder joint. So the shoulder joint breaks up the stripe. I'd say that's the number one thing that I'm concerned about. And my first idea was to possibly repaint. And you see, there's enough space on the neck here to where you can move this stripe over, and then I was going to repaint it black. The problem with that is you can see that. Well, you can't see, but I can feel it with my nail that this is actually sculpted in, which is a problem. So let's look at the shoulder. Can we remove this shoulder stripe? No, that's also slightly sculpted in. So for me, I don't think that's worth the effort. I'm not going to go through all the trouble of adding sculpt or some sanding down, and I'm just going to leave it as is. So if you're thinking you're going to do that, you want to do that as a customizer, yeah, you're going to have to add sculpt, or there's going to be this weird sculpt of a stripe right next to the stripe that you paint. So kind of not an option. So the next thing that my eyes are going to want to check is the hair, because we all know that the Marvel Legends versions are very spotty on hair. They're very inconsistent. The few Wolverines that they released with hair, they either didn't put enough, they put too much, or they only put in like one little spot, and they're the wrong color, whatever. But I gotta say, the hair on the arms on this one are fantastic. They look beautiful. That's perfect hair to me, those tiny lines. And the other CT Toys Brown Wolverine had a lot of that weird yellowish, like poopyish shading on the arm, like in random spots, like he was digging into his toilet to unclog it or something. But this one has nothing of that color. It looks more like a natural shade instead of that dark brown, or that yellowish brown shade that he had on the other one. And I'm really happy with his arms. They look good. So these come down to a glove that is barely sculpted. There's a tiny line in there. So again, if you want to repaint that, that'll make it easier to repaint, or if you want to remove it completely to use this arm for another figure, you're going to have to get rid of that little line. The hands are very well covered in that metallic blue. It's a beautiful paint. Even though, well, okay, I take that back. You can kind of see a little bit of yellow peeking through, like barely. It looks a little transparent underneath, which I guess the base plastic is blue, or a yellow rather, because his arm is flesh, so I guess this is yellow underneath. They pop off. They're pretty tight. No, wait. Comes off a little easy. Nothing that's gonna be a problem when you're posing it, though. They're not very tight. You could see the paint detail in between the claw base holes is good coverage. Now let's take a look at the claw hands. The claw hands on the brown suit Wolverine, they were on a lot of the copies that I saw, they were real light on the paint in between the claws on the hand part, like here in between the knuckles. This one has better coverage than that one. It really looks really good. I'm not sure if I'm going to customize these. I kind of like the long claws, actually. A lot of people complain about them. Let's take a look at if these were to go up into his arm. If these were... yeah, they're going to go... So, I don't know if it's worth the effort. Later I might take off what is that, a 1/4 inch? But if I do that, I've seen other people cut and glue with super glue. What I would do is take a micro drill and drill a tiny hole into this knuckle port, and then cut this here, but then take the end of it and shave it off to a point, so where some of the point is going to go into that hole that I drilled in the knuckle joint, and that gives more surface area to contact with the plastic cement or super glue, which I recommend plastic cement because super glue, after several years, it does turn yellow and it does look crusty and brown and crappy. So I might, if I would do that, I would probably use JB Weld plastic, which I have, or some other epoxy, 2-part epoxy, plastic epoxy. I've seen that stuff work just as good as super glue or better. The shoulders, these shoulder pads, I'm noticing I'm not quite satisfied with how the gap is here between the shoulder and the shoulder pad. They are only connected on the back. They don't have a connection on the front. I think the Marvel Legends has a port here. This one does not. And I don't like how close it is to showing the shoulder. I wish that this was a little more tight, I guess, up against his shoulder than sticking out. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to look. I guess it is. But because of this butterfly joint and that's recessed, it makes it look more gappy. But I think that's just a part of this design as well as the Mafex figure. Going on to the body, the paint, I'm really happy with the color. It's not too bright yellow. It is, I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but if you're worried it's going to look like cheap, like bright yellow, it's not. It has good shading. It has like a good yellow color, on par with Marvel Legends, I'd say. The belt, this is another thing that some people were complaining about on the CT Toys. The belt is glued in the back. So mine is straight, so when they put it on sometimes, well no it's not, it's a little crooked, but right there, with just a little movement it was able to move, so I guess it's not crooked. But some people are complaining that their belt is glued in the wrong place. This belt, on the brown suit Wolverine, I'm going to switch out the belt with the Marvel Legends belt that has the normal buckle. I've seen people do that and it is the same size. Also, if you're thinking about doing that, the belt is the same size as Marvel Legends belt, so you can change out the belt. The legs come off on these, I believe, with the boil and pop. I haven't tried it yet. I've seen people pop them off on accident. These are tight. I don't want to break anything. The legs don't have much shading paint on them. Actually, I don't think they have any. I don't think they have any on the legs. Unless there's a very fine bit, and I don't see it. The other thing about CT Toys Wolverine I'm going to say about this joint, the knee. It seems to be always the left knee. If you go into a full flex like this, and then put it back, the top of the kneecap will get caught on the thigh, and you have to just push it and put it back in. Not a big deal, but it is there. There's a huge gap, and maybe if you guys have the Mafex version, you could tell me if that gap is the same on the Mafex version. I haven't seen too many people going into detail about that joint particularly. The back looks fine, the back of the legs. There are those visible pins if you look into the joint, which doesn't bother me at all. In fact, when a pin is seen, I feel like it makes it look more premium when you see a metal pin in the joint. Because, I mean, either you have that, or you have pinless joints, or you have, you know, pin joints. That Marvel Legend has a huge hole, which people are going crazy and collecting anyway. So I heard on the Mafex version that the boot does not swivel, and this one it does. So that's nice. The ankles got that ball. I don't know what the difference is in the size of the ball compared to the Mafex. I mean, if you're looking at it, it is a little noticeable that it's like a ball there. But once it's posed, I mean, you're not going to be looking at that. Looks pretty good. The toe joint is nicely done, nicely centered. No gaps, no pins coming out, no errors. On the black suit Spider-Man, he did have a problem with the toe joint. I had to get pliers and like push the pin in correctly because it was coming out and it was falling off. But not on this. Paint coverage on the rest of the figure. I don't see any other transparent spots except for that one spot on the wrist. Right there. Right there. But on this wrist, he doesn't have that. So, here's the face. It's got a little bit of orange on the top. The shape of the head, the shape of the wings, the head wings are really nice. I like that. So it's a good figure. I'm absolutely worth it. There's a nice grinning face. Yeah, that one is cool. He's probably going to be wearing that one. The head, the unmasked head, rather. Let me turn on this light. Looks good. Eyes are centered. Let me see if I can zoom. Eyes are centered pretty good. I mean, just as much error of margin as there is in any real human eyes. So there's the blue highlights in the hair. You know, with a paintbrush that can be changed if you want. And there's that little plug that goes on the inside of these heads. Here's a quick tip I've seen somebody do. This is not my original idea. If you ever want to use one of these heads on a Marvel Legend, you can actually heat this head up in near boiling water for 30 seconds and get something in here to wedge and pull this plug out, and this head will fit on a Marvel Legends. And vice versa, if you would like to put a... Hold on, I'm going to shake the camera. I'm going to shake the camera a little bit. If you would like to put a Marvel Legends head on a Mafex, this is a tip from Scorpio, I think his channel name is. You can get this silicone, 100% silicone tubing, cut like a little piece off, like an 1/8 of an inch or a little bit bigger than an 1/8 of an inch off, and then cut it long ways, and then shorten it, and then you can like cinch it as needed to fit into the head cavity of the Marvel Legends figure, and the space in the middle will fit the CT Toys or Mafex peg. So you can actually use the Marvel Legends heads on these as well. So that's a summary. Basic summary, my basic thoughts. I like it. Joints tight. He slashes across, you know, unlike Marvel Legends. Oh, also he comes with these hands, which is like open hands, book holding hands, photo of Jean and Scott holding hands. He comes with the cowl that comes around and underneath the unmasked head. If you want to use it, that's what the accessories look like, and it comes with a stand, which I haven't taken out yet. So you really need this. You really need one of these, and I'm a big fan of this design of Wolverine. I have already 2 copies of the Tiger Stripe Marvel Legends Wolverine from the Apocalypse Wave because I like that figure so much, and I got this anyway, and I'm going to keep it. I might do something with it later. If I do, you might get an update. It might show up in a later video. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the CT Toys Wolverine. If there's any other questions, you can post them in the comments below. Comments, complaints. Happy New Year.
Berserker Barrage! Ah! Rookie.
Shit.